What's up, guys? Today we're doing a little thought experiment. We're taking an everyday item and we're going to break it down into its constituent parts. We're going to see every single time part of that item has been shipped on the truck. So what we're going to do here is we're going to break down our item, and once we get a little piece, we're going to put it in this truck here. I'm guessing by the time we get done with this video, this thing's going to be pretty much filled up. So let's get started. What are we looking at today? So today I'm looking at something that I've had nearly every single day of my life for the last almost 3 years. This is a pair of RedWing work chukkas. So pair of shoes, nothing too crazy. I figured this would be pretty simple. There can't be too many parts. I mean, it's obviously, you've got some leather on the upper, you've got laces, so that's probably polyester, cotton, something like that. You know, some rubber. Should be pretty simple. Well, did a little bit of searching and a little bit of research into this. There's a lot that goes into this. So let's start taking a look at it. Write these things down. All right, well, first things first. Obviously, this is not a vegan product. This is leather. So at one point, these were cows. So the cattle they ended up at the slaughterhouse, and then the hides were removed. So the hides, they were then salted in brine processing, and then they were then shipped over to the SB Foot Tanning Company in RedWing, Minnesota. So from there, they have a chrome tanning process that they're putting them through. So let's write these things down. So we've got cattle. Those are going to be shipped by truck most likely. And then the hides. So we've got hides being shipped by truck to the tanning factory. So I don't want to go too in depth about the actual tanning process, but there's a lot of stuff that's involved into it. So just looking at some of my notes here, the chrome tanning process, basically you're going to start with a salt brine hide that's going to be cleaned first with water and a detergent. So that detergent's going to be shipped by truck. So we're going to write that down, detergents. Okay. And then that brine was definitely something that was sent by truck. Brine mix. Most likely it was dry powder and then mixed with water. So that's salt in that process there, and ACO. And then after that, we're going to be looking at the heating. So the detergent's already done. Then after that, there's a lime agent that's used. So lime is CaOH2, and that's going to be mostly in a powder form. So that's going to be on a dry van. So that's going to be sent in mixed with water, and then it's also going to be then cleaned with sodium hydrosulfide. So sodium hydrosulfide, and that's mixed in, and that's part of the de-hairing process to get the hair off of the leather. So these cows were not all shaved. That's de-haired chemically and mechanically. So then there's a mechanical fleshing process. There might be some machinery shipped in, but we're going to leave that out for now. So then there's de-liming agents, and those consist of ammonium sulfate. So you've got ammonium sulfate being shipped by truck. And then, you've also got bait enzymes. So those are basically there to remove any collagen proteins, because the leather is mostly, you just want to keep collagen because that's the strongest protein that's going to be holding it together. So you've got other enzymes. I wasn't able to find out exactly which ones that RedWing's using at the SB Foot Tanning Company, but I'm guessing they didn't mention it because it might be proprietary. But those are nevertheless, or whatever mixture they're using, are going to be shipped via truck. Then there's a pickling process. I don't want to write salt down again, but there's doing that again to basically remove the rest of the enzymes that were in there. And then finally get to the actual tanning process itself. So with tanning, they actually use a chrome tanning process. So with the chrome tanning process, you're mostly using powdered chrome. It's a metal, obviously. just like what you see on the cars, keeping it shiny and fancy, and that's going to bind with the leather. And so that powdered chrome is going to be shipped in by truck as well, typically in large bags, and then they're going to mix it with water and other agents inside to tan the leather. So from there, the leather itself, so I'm going to write finished leather. Leather is then shipped via truck. So we finally got the leather put together and we're basically all filled up. We'll take a look at a close-up of that where you guys can actually read my handwriting, but nevertheless, you can see there's a lot of stuff going into this. So next, this does also have some cork in the midsole as well. And so cork is an interesting product. So the bark is removed from living trees. Doesn't have to be necessarily dead trees because they want to keep them sustainable. So the bark is then shipped to a processing facility. So we've got cork bark being shipped. And then from there, it's also going to be shipped again. So we've got cork bark, I'm just going to write ×2 because it's being shipped twice after it's processed. Basically, it's going to be usually granulated, and then it's filled into large sacks, like probably about 100-pound sacks, and those are going to be put onto trucks and then shipped to mostly shoe manufacturers and other manufacturers that use cork products in the granulated form. It could also be shipped in a more pressed pieces as well. Okay, so then we've got that, and then next, simple stuff, but can't forget it. So we've got thread, and there's different kinds of thread used in boots. We're going to be mostly looking at polyester and cotton. Now polyester, of course, that's made mostly of petrochemicals, excuse me. So we've got petrochemicals, and then even recycled products as well. So shoelaces, those are mostly polyester on these ones. I believe this is a polyester and it's got some dyes in it. But we already wrote that down, so I'll just write ×4 because the tag your boots, that's also made out of polyester, and then it's also got dyes on there. So we've got polyester and dyes being shipped in by truck at least 4 times in just this one product. So next, we're finally getting down to the sole of the problem, like the pun there. So we're looking at the actual sole of the boot. So this is mostly made out of rubber mixed with other chemicals. So you've got rubber and then petrochemicals mixed together for this. So rubber. So, and then you've got the midsole, and this is what they call a Goodyear welt. So there is actually a steel shank in here as well. So we have to add steel. So we've got steel, and if you want to break down steel into its constituent parts, that's going to be recycled material. Steel is actually one of the most highly recycled materials, and a lot of that's being shipped by truck, train, and other modes of travel. Boats as well. So we've got recycled materials, we've got iron, carbon. A lot of this would be actually, I don't know exactly all the details of how that's all shipped, but definitely the iron's being shipped by truck as well during some of the process. We've got chromium. I guess chromium's also being shipped in the other process, but that's going into steel production. And then, so we've got all that for the eyelets and the steel shank. So steel eyelets, and then steel shank inside of there. And I believe that should pretty much include everything that's gone into this boot. And then of course there are a lot of other things as well. So there's going to be some different dyes, and I don't know exactly how they're going to be shipped out, but very cool when you really think about it and break it down. Look at that list. I apologize for my terrible handwriting, but hopefully the point has been made clear. Even the simplest of things have a lot of logistics behind it. So don't take that for granted, especially when we're thinking about the supply chain issues that we're having, all the different hands and eyes and ears and people that are involved in keeping everything rolling. It really is a great thing to be a part of that. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe in the next one, we'll break out the logistics of the mink oil. Got to keep them oiled up. Yes, it's made out of real mink.